Hi, we're back, and there was a little bit of an issue. I don't know what happened. It looked like OBS froze up on us, but we're back and live, and we'll just keep on going. So he's flirting, and keeps drunkenly playing his fiddle on the table. Good music, highbrow, accompanied by Meredith the Bard, and Robold's avoiding being asked questions about the military uniform he's wearing because it has no actual insignia, just a rank. And Kadan's handing out business cards.
Can I tell if they're receptive at all to these business cards?
They seem to be polite. They are taking them. And they will ask you about what you can do and all that. They are very curious about the silver daggers. So they're very much interested in what you do and the stories that you can tell them, and where you're based and things like that. And just as that all happens, though, I can read out something. Haha. Plot twist. Dun dun dun.
Which plot?
The doors behind you on the Great Hall fly open. A sentry from the pinnacle shouts, "Manticore! It's on the move!" And everything just stops. All the feeding stops. The music instantly stops. Hopefully, you also stop your music as well. And read the room.
I do, but only after a sec. Like,
yeah.
Oh.
The knights rise to their feet instantly. The quicker than the knights are actually the initiates run from the corner of the room that have been serving you all night and have already been filling up your drinks and doing this and that for you and making sure everything's right. They are on their feet even faster than the knights, and they are running to the door, to the grand hall. The commander stands up onto the table, stands from his seat up onto the table, and announces, "We should take this opportunity to slay the monster once and for all." And he removes his golden ring from his finger and holds it up and says, A prize for the one who brings me that beast's head. And if you get them both, I have a bigger prize." And he holds up his thick gold signet ring, which So knows is from a very quality vendor in Waterdeep.
Ooh.
And everyone is starting to rush off. One of the knights actually picks up Kip off the table and puts him down, and well, you are on the table. And a few of the knights are running out the door. The initiates were the first to the door. They're running downstairs. The knights, some of them are running to their quarters. What do you do?
Okay, where is it?
The sentry. It's on the move. It's. We can see it over the fog. You want to help?
Yes, can someone give us a ride?
A ride? We can put. The commander looks down at you and goes, "We can do better than that. How would you like to fly?"
Hell yes!
What was that?
I don't do good with heights.
Oh, you'll be fine. Have a drink with me.
Now you tell.
You're good.
Now you tell us. Come on.
Well, I didn't want to go to the edges of the places.
One of the knights turns as he's running past you. "You don't do good with heights? The height is not the problem. It's the stop at the end. That's the only problem."
It's that first bounce.
Yes. So don't blame the air, blame the ground. And he rushes back to. He goes back to his rooms, and you realise, yep.
That's a surprisingly smart way of thinking about it. Come on, let's go.
Yeah. Well, I've got my axe handy. I just carefully take off the top of my uniform and put it on a chair. It's still kind of valuable.
So you.
It's like they say, speed never killed anyone. It's suddenly stopping is what does it.
Yes.
There you go.
Don't blame the air. Blame the ground. And they actually rush you down to the bottom of the level, down to the bottom of the.
I grab all my stuff, my scimitars, my armor. I get changed back. I quickly sort of get changed out of my fancy clothes, and I will just quickly stuff them in my bag. But
We have enough time to change.
Not
I
really.
run back to my room. Not really. I grabbed all my stuff, and then I changed to the robes I was wearing earlier in the day, so that these could be good. I walk in, I change, and I walk back out. Same exact robes, but you notice that they're not as pressed as before. Like, yeah, that's exactly the same. But I go out.
Slightly
Ready.
creased.
Let's go.
Okay, everyone do an insight or perception, please.
Insights.
Except
I'll
for
percept.
Will.
Oh.
So everyone else, I should say. Yes.
oh fuck!
You don't realize. You think that he's just taken off his robes and put on the same robes. They look exactly the same. You can't tell that one has a couple of creases here and there and maybe a little bit of dust. It makes no difference.
I basically run out of the room like half my armor on, like hopping, trying to put it on and get going. Like, come on, we gotta go quick. We don't want to miss this chance. Come on.
What is your armor?
Studded leather.
Studded leather is easy to put on. Studded leather is pretty much over the top and doing up a couple of latches to tighten it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Just a note, I only take my axe, not the shield.
Yep. And what armors are you trying to, or?
No
Okay.
armor.
Okay.
Oh yeah. That's
Going
nice.
without armor is still better AC than going with armor at the moment.
Fine,
Yep.
That's fine. Studded leather armor, and also like when he's jumping out and like putting stuff, I'm just very, very gingerly folding my robe into the bag.
One of the initiates says, "Hurry up, we've got to move." And the initiate comes in and reaches for it, pauses, and then as if asking for permission, then like it just grabs you and pulls
Yeah.
as you're the last one out of the room.
As I run past, I shout out to Meredith, "Come on, Vanya, let's go. And I keep running.
She's not there. Everyone kind of left her there in the room, in the grand hall, and everyone's just bolted. She's the last one. She's like, she's not military.
Do you know any magic?
You all left. You all just ran off, and you don't
Okay.
know that she was left there by herself.
I was kind of carried up. I was kind of carried with the crowd.
Yeah.
You guys just like you're just over this initiate shoulder, and you're still like folding, like draped over this guy's shoulder.
So you're led to the ground floor. So what I'm going to do is just to make it easier for you guys, because you should be able to see. And you've been here enough. So we're going to do something really weird.
Oh.
And go, okay. You can see the full map because you've kind of seen the full map anyway.
We can see.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I know.
Ward's still in the room with.
Yeah. So it just makes it easier because you don't need to move your characters all the way down and whatnot. So you brought down to the cellar. Down to the ground floor with the stables, and a couple of initiates are introducing you to the hippogriffs, and they're trying to calm the hippogriffs to allow you to actually get near them. And they're feisty, they're snapping at you, they're screeching, they're very much on edge. The vultures are a lot calmer as the knights get onto the vultures, and as the hippogriffs are being calmed for you, an initiate will come up to each of you and says, "You need to wear this. You put this on your back. If you have an issue, you jump off and you just press here, and it's got a big, essentially a button, with a panel at the front. It allows you to fall a little bit safer.
Okay.
It's what we use for training.
That's
Sure.
very sweet, but I wouldn't need it.
There's a long way down. We use it for training. Believe me, it's you'll need to return them, but you'll need them.
All right.
The other thing is you're going to be strapped in. The initiates, not the knights that are doing this, the initiates, the ones that are actually learning themselves, actually teaching. We will strap your legs in, because these, if they don't like you or if they get spooked, the hippogriffs have a tendency of going upside down. To throw any riders, because they don't like riders on them sometimes. So we strap your legs in. So if you're not used to that, it's going to be a bit of an issue. When I said about jumping off, there's a dagger, and you actually see, and he points out there's a dagger right there, right next to each leg, and you have to pretty much cut through the straps before having to jump and having to bail. The other thing is, if the hippogriff goes down, you have to get off there quickly. And then once again, press the button, like jump, get clear, activate your wingsuit, and get the hell off.
Suddenly, having heard all this, it's suddenly dawning on me just how, like, oh shit, this is actually quite scary.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
So one of the initiates puts on the wingsuit himself, and just like one of the spare ones, actually the only spare one they've got, and puts it on and essentially puts his arm out like this. This is how you fly. This is how you fall. Arms out, legs out.
Cool.
Like pretty much a star. Pretty much he does like a star look, and he puts his arm out, presses the button, and a web goes between his arms, down to his waist, and then between his legs.
Oh my god, that's amazing!
So if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's essentially the modern day wingsuit that they've got a D&D version of.
It's the picture of the, if you go back to like the title screen of Princes, that's the picture.
That's exactly the picture.
There we go.
So it's exactly the picture they're talking about. They have wingsuits.
Seeing all this happen, I just kind of look at this. I just touch my chest and just cast guidance on myself.
Do they come in like small sizes?
They say it's magical, so it will adapt.
Ooh,
It just means you may be flying a bit faster.
that's fine by me.
Yeah, just a little bit faster. So that's the wingsuit we're talking about. And
Does
just
it go over our clothes, or does it kind of?
it adapts. It's magical. So it's like a jacket. It's not a jacket, but like a vest, which is just a harness, but it's empty harness.
Okay.
But when you activate it, it then adapts to your clothes and makes a wingsuit out of it. So yeah, that's a thing. And they say don't try to be fancy with it. Just try to glide to the ground. It's hard to unbalance. Now with the hippogriffs, they have a tendency of charging. You're going to have to get used to that very quickly. The best way, what we're taught, and we're taught quickly, and already the vultures are being mounted, and the knights are getting ready, and they're strapping you in. And as they're strapping you in, they're saying the hippogriffs want to charge. You need to hold them back. Try to use range if you can. A manticore is a ferocious beast. It's been hunting this area for a long time. And if it gets close to you, it will rip your hippogriff to pieces. You want to keep it range. Okay. And he looks at your two short swords, your scimitars. Like, do you have anything that's got range?
Yeah, and I pull out a crossbow.
Okay. He looks at.
Do you have a javelin?
And you can use spells as well.
A few spells.
Did you need a crossbow, Robot? I can give you mine. I have magic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I can use that.
There aren't any javelins. They're lances, if you'd like. But again, it's
I'm more of a close-up kind of guy.
The manticore's ferocious
Barbarian,
in close. It's dangerous out at distance, but it's even worse in close.
It hasn't made me.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We're actually doing this, aren't we?
Do I choose the fanciest looking hippogriff?
You're just assigned. You are just assigned a hippogriff. That's just that.
To me, he's the fanciest.
Yeah, of course. And it's got the biggest.
Did you want the crossbow or no?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I toss it over, and then after I toss it, I kind of grab. Are we already mounted on the hippogriffs, or?
You're being strapped in. Yes.
Okay. I strap in and I just kind of hug it and I say, "Good luck, buddy." And I cast guidance on myself. Just
Totally expecting that. Totally expecting it. Yep.
I was just wondering because I'm so much smaller. Is it like awkward to be strapped in?
It's just the straps are going more around you, because they strap all the way up to their thighs. It's just your whole leg is strapped in really, because your legs are smaller. But yeah,
Okay, this might be. If I have to get out of here, this might be a bit dangerous.
it's nothing that they've told you has sounded safe. Nothing
Well,
at
it's not
all
safe.
has sounded safe.
nope.
Except for the fact that apparently the Manticore hasn't met Robold. Have you got any questions? This is all happening in a matter of minutes.
How do I tell it to move or attack? Is it, do they have range or something?
I have a question.
Yep.
What's a manticore?
As the initiates are like teaching you. Okay, so to turn, push in, like you to turn right, push in your right knee, and it will turn right a little bit, and left knee, and the more you push in, the more it's going to move. If you pull
easy.
back, don't expect it to slow down. It'll go up. If you push it forward
handy
on
to
the
know.
steer, it's not going to go faster. It will dive. Be careful of that.
Okay.
And if you squish with both knees, that will most likely that either will have it throw you off by going upside down, or it'll slow you down. It's up to them. Remember them. You're on them.
Okay.
Respect the beast.
Okay.
And then you hear the "What's a manticore?" and everyone just stops. And you hear from another store, "It's a damn flying lion, you idiot!"
With a scorpion
I'm sorry.
tail.
No,
And then another knight calls out, "With a scorpion's tail that shoots spikes at you."
cool. Okay. I know that now.
And then you hear a big squawk as the outer doors open up on you. All of the outer doors open up,
Oh fuck.
and you're mounted, and the hippogriff knows what it's doing. It
Oh fuck.
dives out. It actually runs off
okay.
the edge and dives out over the edge to nothingness.
All trepidation immediately sort of vanishes as just adrenaline kicks in, and you just hear yelling
Yep.
above the wind. You say,
Robold sitting in a Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Robold sitting in a Valkyrie stall.
Yeah.
His beard flapping in the wind. It's
So
yeah,
the-
I'm awesome.
As the vultures dive out, they immediately spread their wings and start gliding out and start flapping. The hippogriffs do the opposite. The hippogriffs charge out on their cloven hoofs and their claws, and they just dive out, wings back into a nothingness. All you can see is a layer of fog beneath the tower, and it dives into the layer of fog.
I've been skydiving. I know this.
Yes.
Oh,
But they're deliberately diving into the fog because they've got new riders.
Okay.
And
Right when they
you have nothing
I
but the wind.
immediately kind of like pull back on the reins to try and like get it to go up.
Yep.
right when they jumped off and they left like basically ground, you just hear, "Ah, And so I'm just hugging the hippogriff's like neck. I'm just like down. I'm not trying to stay upwards or anything like that.
Yep.
Just hugging it. And then when it goes down into the fog, you just hear the scream in the fog. You
Yep.
know exactly where the god is.
So you hear screaming, you hear wind rushing past you. It's always windy here, and it's just. But this is not the wind. This is you're flying through the air at fast speed. It's actually a surprisingly still night. But it's that you're going through at such a fast speed that it's windy and scary. And eventually, the hippogriffs come up and crest into the fog, above the fog, and it's this beautiful still night. You can see all of the feather gale, well, all of the canyon floor, all of the canyon tops. There's a fog that's pretty much over the entire bottom of the canyon, so all you can see is the top and the pinnacle. And we're going to move maps because we have encounter map.
Oh boy.
When we do come back up.
Yep.
And I just kind of we all like next to each other, like near each other.
You're not.
Spread.
So I'm going to have to move some of these around. So's not here, so bye-bye, So.